Hey, albums fans hate, but I love Rolling Stones Undercover. I was a massive Rolling Stones fan when I was in year 12 for a couple of years there. My actual first memory of the Rolling Stones was we came down to Melbourne to stay at my uncle and auntie's place, and I think the Saturday morning Sounds, I think the TV show was called, they were playing like the new Rolling Stones film clip at the time, which was Start Me Up, and my auntie goes, "Oh, is that old Mick Jagger there?" And I looked around and I was like, I don't know, but he kind of looks like this woman that I know back in Swan Hill. And she was like, "A woman?" And fucking laughed about it. And he did remind me of this woman that I knew. I mean, he still looked unreal and fucking like in that mauve kind of cut off muscle shirt thing that he's wearing, sweat stains. Can't remember any of the lyrics, so he's just fucking like miming shit that doesn't even make sense, doing these weird fucking dances. Those videos that people do where they just cut out all of the sound and then they just have sneakers squeaking and all that kind of shit. Man, there's one they do of Start Me Up and fuck, it's funny. I love that film clip. It's so like no gloss about it. Everyone just, I mean, it wouldn't work for anyone else, but because the Rolling Stones, they've all got their fucking character and they're all so cool. Like, I mean, even the most uncool guy in the fucking band, Bill Wyman, and he's still fucking awesome. Is he wearing a tracksuit in that? I think he is. He fucking just looks unreal. And in my opinion, I think he's one of the underrated members of the Rolling Stones. Doesn't get enough credit. Got some cool fucking bass lines that he does. His penchant for young brides is a bit worrying, but anyway. But yeah, that was my first exposure to the Rolling Stones. And when I was in year 12, I remember playing that Start Me Up film clip just over and over again before school, watching everything about it. Loved analysing all the things everyone did. Ron Wood at the end, he does this thing where he's like jumping up and down and then he just disappears. I love the fact that Mick couldn't remember the lyrics. It just like made it even extra like cool. Did a whole bunch of like their songs in the band that I had at the time, just a cover band, garage band thing. And I remember we were doing Satisfaction. I didn't know how to play guitar. I was just using power chords and it kind of sounded funky, but kind of got away with it. Anyway, I'd like to say it was good fun, but I think I'm incapable of having fun. Every time I'm in a band, I just like end up being this like fucking perfectionist and everything has to be right and you have to do the song fucking over and over again and it just sucks the enjoyment out of it. Why would anyone want to be in a band with me? Didn't actually own any Rolling Stones albums at that stage, so I went to my local record store to see what they had. And they had Steel Wheels, Sucking in the 70s, and Undercover, so bonus, they were all like pretty cheap at that stage. There was a bunch of different sounds on this than what they'd been doing previously, like from the Tattoo You album. They actually got Chris Kimsey to help produce this because there was a lot of new technology coming in at the time. Consequently, it's like the production sounds a little bit more up to date for 1983. I can kind of hear some like electronic drums, toms in some songs. The album's got like a bit of a nasty, menacing tone about it, and I think that might be down to the fact that Mick and Keith are at the start of their feud that they had in the 80s. So maybe there was like a little bit of animosity there and that was coming through in the songwriting or the delivery of the vocals and whatever. The guitars, like in like Undercover of the Night in particular, like real slashing tone. The lyrics in that like are dealing with all of this kind of like political stuff, which I really appreciated. I like love lyrics like that. But yeah, I'm not sure why people don't like this. Like there's a lot of stuff that's still kind of has a lot of the kind of upbeat rock and roll tendencies that like, stuff from Some Girls, like Respectable and those kind of songs. You've got She Was Hot, it's up-tempo, fucking rock and roll number. Wanna Hold You is one of the ones that Keith does the lead vocals on, like he used to chuck a couple of songs on every album kind of thing. Happy and, things like that, or Before They Make Me Run, love that one from Some Girls. Too Tough's also another like kind of rockin' one, All the Way Down, rockin'. The thing I like about this album is they've got a bit more of a dancey thing happening sometimes, in particular with the single Too Much Blood. Fucking love that song. Bunch of layered guitars that give it like this, kind of like what you'd hear on like maybe a horror film that has like voodoo shit going on, like this real kind of creeping, menacing sort of jangly thing happening. They kind of don't just stick with a riff, they're kind of weaving in amongst each other, and like they won't just stick on a particular riff, they'll add like different bits that seem to work with each other. After this album they kind of stopped doing that as much. Like you listen to stuff on Steel Wheels and it's more just like a simple riff that's just like repeated, whereas on this there's heaps of interesting stuff. The more you listen to it, in particular like Undercover, Of the Night, there's like some whammy bar stuff that I assume is Ron Wood doing that. Like if you really pick the songs apart, you can hear all of these just weird shit that like they've really mixed it in so it's not super obvious, but really adds like atmosphere to each song. But yeah, Too Much Blood's one of my favourite. Great brass section in that. Feel On Baby's got like a bit of a reggae vibe. Pretty Beat Up was one that Ron Wood wrote, and apparently Mick and Keith didn't want that on the album, and I don't know why, because let the man have a song on the fucking album, you hogs. It's not much of a song, it's more just like a kind of groove kind of thing, bit of a jam, but it's just got a great vibe, love it. Then they end the album with It Must Be Hell, which probably is my least favourite on Thing, although I like the start of it, the riff, but then it just turns into this like kind of honky tonk women kind of groove. But I love the chorus, It Must Be Hell, living in a world with you, something like that. Can't really remember the lyrics. I mean, Mick couldn't remember the lyrics either, so what the fuck. Love the music videos that are associated with this. Like they went from Start Me Up, where like it's so underdone, just like 5 dudes in a room, like the lighting is so terrible, it could be in your garage with a fucking floodlight on. And then the music videos on this, in particular Undercover, Of the Night and Too Much Blood, they're just like big budget. They look like a big budget movie, and they're doing all of this like location shooting and like just like weaving storylines into the whole thing. Too Much Blood's awesome. It's got like this woman who's kind of reading through Life magazine and there's all these horrible photos, and then she's watching shit on the TV and it's all just gore and fucking shit. Then Keith Richards like bursts in with a fucking chainsaw at one stage. I mean, he looks cool with a fucking guitar, but man, with a chainsaw, I think he's even better. Ron Wood tries to get in on the action with the chainsaw, but he doesn't kind of look quite as cool as Keith. But, you know, who does look as cool as Keith back then? Mick looks fucking crazy on the Too Much Blood film clip though. Like, he looks like this amphetamine-infused Iggy Pop. Like, he's got his eyeliner on and bulging eyes and shit. Fucking... Which they used that for the cover of the Too Much Blood single, and fucking hell, he's not looking his greatest, but... kind of suits the whole thing. It's so menacing and bizarre, that song. But anyway, not sure why people don't really like this album, because yeah, I really love it. But come back next week when I tell you why Dirty Work is my second favourite Rolling Stones album. So see you then. Bye.